Kirsten
Tulsi
Gillibrand. Oh, monstrous.
Monstrous?
Ideas.
Well, when she was 22, she had...
No, she's an Assad toady.
What does that mean?
She is
What's a toady?
I think that I used that word correctly. Jamie, can you check what toady means?
Like towing the line? Is that what it means?
Disruptive.
Weird thing to happen. So now that Skydance Media officially bought out Paramount in a merger that is orchestrated by the Ellison family, Larry Ellison's son owns Skydance Media. Larry Ellison is the CEO of Oracle, one of the biggest AI manufacturers, to basically encapsulate the world into a centralized intelligence surveillance tool. You know where this is heading, folks. And now they just made an even more kind of ridiculous decision, but it kind of works in their favor, as you'll see here. So the New York Post writes, Paramount to buy Bari Weiss's Free Press for up to $200 million and give her a senior editorial role at CBS News. Oh, man, that is going to be so good. That is so good, because what we need more of is just a completely empty vessel bimbo to run a mainstream network to encourage more people into the atrocities of the world. That's what we need more of. Not truthful, insightful, responsible journalistic integrity, but just a mindless bimbo like Bari Weiss. And for those who don't remember who exactly Bari Weiss is, let me bring you a blast of the past when Bari Weiss was on Joe Rogan's podcast. So she's had a long history with the mainstream media. This was when she was a contributor for the New York Times. She was invited onto Joe Rogan's podcast, and many people remember this. She was asked about contenders for the Democratic Party back in 2020. And they mentioned a few names, and one of the names mentioned was Tulsi Gabbard. And watch how the amazing Bari Weiss reacted to Joe Rogan mentioning Tulsi Gabbard in a conversation on his podcast. Watch.
Kirsten
Tulsi
Gillibrand. Oh, monstrous.
Monstrous?
Ideas.
Well, when she was 22, she had...
No, she's an Assad toady.
What does that mean?
She is
What's a toady?
I think that I used that word correctly. Jamie, can you check what toady means?
Like towing the line? Is that what it means?
So that is going to be the head of CBS News. That is part of the editorial board at CBS News. That she is smearing Tulsi Gabbard, a Democrat contender for president in 2020, as an Assad toady. And she doesn't even know what a toady is. I think I'm using that correctly. I think that's correct. What she's doing here is getting a received opinion, meaning that someone told her to say that. Someone told her that Tulsi Gabbard is obviously an Assad toady. It's very obvious to someone, and she's going to repeat that to Joe Rogan. But obviously, Joe Rogan is not going to take that, because Joe Rogan, who has interviewed Tulsi Gabbard numerous times, kind of could see through that bullshit. Kind of could see through the bullshit that Tulsi Gabbard is an Assad toady. Oh, because she went over there and talked with the leader for a diplomatic resolution to the war. Oh, God forbid we end a war. So let me replay that again.
Kirsten
Tulsi
Gillibrand. Oh, monstrous.
Monstrous?
Ideas.
Well, when she was 22, she had...
No, she's an Assad toady.
What does that mean?
She is
What's a toady?
I think that I used that word correctly. Jamie, can you check what toady means?
So Joe Rogan just simply asked her, "Well, what's a toady?" I don't know what you mean. What's a toady? And all she could say is, "I think I'm using that right." Can you go look that up? Can you go look up the insult that I just made on Tulsi Gabbard? Can you go look that up? This is the journalistic integrity of Bari Weiss, ladies and gentlemen. This is the journalistic integrity, who's now being hired to run CBS News at the tune of $200 million. Holy crap. It's like the news cycle of Pretty Woman. You're just buying yourself a hooker to run an organization. Because clearly she does not have the journalistic integrity to even know what she's spewing here. Oh yeah, Tulsi Gabbard's a sod toady. Well, what's a toady? I don't know. I think I'm using that correctly. Can you look that up? Go Google it. Go Google it.
Like towing the line? Is that what it means?
No, I think it's like a TOADIE.
What does that mean?
I think it means what I think it means.
I think it means what I think it means. Is that the motto that at the New York Times, that like a plaque outside the building? I think I know what it means. Did they have to slap the wall like Notre Dame? Is that the motto of New York Times? Is that what the byline says when you buy a newspaper? I think I know what it means. So Joe Rogan's just completely dismantling her for just asking what a toady is. And she doesn't have any idea what she's saying here, but she heard it. That's what it means to have received opinion. You heard it somewhere, and you've heard it numerous times, so you think that's true, and you're going to use that as a baseless smear against Joe Rogan, who's interviewed Tulsi Gabbard personally.
Toady. Definition of toadies. A person
A
who
sycophant,
flatters or defers to others
I
for
kinda used it right.
self-serving reasons.
A sycophant.
So she's an Assad sycophant. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's known about her.
Like, what did she say that
We have to look.
qualifies her?
I don't remember the details.
We
I've read
probably
it.
should say that before we...
That's known. I don't remember the details. I don't remember exactly, but it's known, Joe. It's known. She's a sycophant. As opposed to me being a sycophant for war and a sycophant for Israel and Zionism. Turns out Bari Weiss is a toady, and she's trying to smear another person for being a toady, and she doesn't even know what the word means. And now she's going to be running CBS. Good God. Talk about putting the final nail in the coffin. Because we know just how bad mainstream media is, including CBS. I don't even know anyone that still watches these broadcasts, but this is definitely the final nail on the coffin. That she's going to run the editorial board. Oh, God. I can't wait till she gets into deep dives about, who's sycophants lurking about. Oh, this Columbia student. He's a toady for Hamas. I think I'm using that right? Can you look up what toady means? Can you look up the word that I'm using to smear someone? Please. Someone help me out. I need to phone a friend.
Say that about her. We should probably read it, rather.
Well, I have read it.
No, I mean, we should now.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just so we know what she said.
Look up
I've had her
Tulsi
on
Gabbard.
here before.
Look
and
up
I really enjoyed talking to her. I like her a lot.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I like talking to her.
Okay.
I like talking to her. I don't know about...
I think she's like the mother lode of bad ideas.
Whoa.
I'm pretty positive about that, especially on Assad, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong.
Well, my take on her was...
I don't think I'm wrong. I'm pretty positive. She's the mother lode of bad ideas. Holy crap, folks. Holy crap. This is why mainstream media has gone so bad that a jackass like me on a shoestring budget podcast like this can do more journalism in a short video than they can do in a 24-hour news network. Or in this case, a publication like the New York Times. I'm pretty positive that she's a toady. I don't know what that means, but someone look that up. I'm pretty positive that she is. Why? Because someone told me back in the office, and I believe that, because why would I question my office for lying to me? I mean, it's not like the New York Times has lied about war and casualties and foreign policy since the 50s. It's not like the New York Times ever lies periodically. He's going to be running CBS News, ladies and gentlemen. Holy crap. So, going back to the New York Post article, says Paramount is preparing to shell out as much as $200 million for Bari Weiss's buzzy media venture, the Free Press, and hand her the keys to help steer CBS News. In a move that's rattling an already shaken news division, still reeling from the $8 billion Skydance-Paramount mega merger. Weiss, the former New York Times opinion page editor who launched the Free Press in 2022, is reportedly in line for a senior editorial role at CBS News as part of the deal that would fold her outlet into the new Paramount, according to the Puck newsletter. Paramount declined to comment, but the Puck media reporter Dylan Byers pegged the potential purchase price between $100 million and $200 million, with sources saying the talks are in the final stages. The deal comes in the heels of last month's blockbuster merger between David Ellison's Skydance Media and Paramount Global, which ended decades of Redstone family control and put CBS and CBS News firmly under Ellison's watch. The FCC signed off on the transaction after Ellison agreed to sweeping changes at CBS News, including installing an ombudsman to police bias, dismantling DEI programs, and promising to elevate viewpoint diversity. Those concessions have already rattled the newsroom. One CBS insider told Fox Business that the new ombudsman amounted to a hall monitor, while former anchors have publicly warned that CBS News' tradition of independent reporting could be in jeopardy. Now the prospect of Weiss, a sharp-tongued critic of progressive orthodoxy, who quit the Times after blasting the paper's illiberal environment, stepping into a leadership role, has only heightened tensions, according to reports. Weiss has carved out a reputation for challenging both the left and the right, building the Free Press into a high-profile, subscriber-driven platform that publishes essays, interviews, and investigative work outside the traditional media lanes. Her potential rival at CBS News would mark her most prominent mainstream role since leaving the Times. So Bari Weiss runs a Substack. That's what that is. That's what the Free Press is. It's a Substack. And the Ellison family bought her out for $200 million. Do they think that they're buying her out because that Substack is so profound, that there's so much journalistic integrity that they had to buy her? No, they're buying her out because she's the perfect puppet for their propaganda. That's all this is. It's just one oligarch merging with another oligarch to buy out another oligarch, and they're buying out potential puppets to steer the ship. That's all this is. Just making mainstream media more grotesque to the general public. So here's Glenn Greenwald. He points out that Larry Ellison's son, a family whose overwhelming cause is Israel, bought Paramount CBS from Sherry Redstone, who also has the same cause, will now give Bari Weiss $200 million to buy her Israel state media outlet and put her in charge of CBS News' editorial decisions. So that's all this is. It's trying to capture CBS News and Paramount assets to preach the Israel propaganda machine that the Ellison family is encapsulated with, because the Ellison family that develops AI technology is selling it to Israel. Just like Palantir. And what did we heard from Alex Karp of Palantir, the CEO of Palantir? He said, if the narrative drops, if we don't have control over the doctrination that Israel is our ally and we got to do everything to stop Hamas, if we lose that narrative, we lose control, which is what's happening right now, then we wouldn't be able to launch any more wars. And that is fatal to them. That is fatal to these dynasties that built upon war crimes, that is built upon technology to mass surveil, to drone people, to go against humanity. So that is why they're buying out Paramount. That's why they're getting Bari Weiss, the dumbass who doesn't even know how to properly smear someone and doesn't know what the word toady is, and claim her as being the journalistic expert to lead CBS News. That's why this is happening, folks. Most of the videos on the Free Press, including Bari's podcast, barely break 10,000 views on YouTube. So, again, it's not because of her talent. I can tell you that. It's not because of her talent. On a scale of 1 to 10 for online impact, this might be a 3. Whatever the $200 million is for, it's not for the real value of her blog, but for Bari's role in spouting Israeli propaganda. And you can see, if I scroll down here, look at some of the videos that she's collaborated with. Jeffrey Epstein and the Conspiracy Against America, the Druze Massacre, Israel attacks Syria, from revolutionary to theocracy, Iran, touting all this propaganda. She's a toady for Israel. And I can actually say that because I know what a toady is. Bari. Unlike you, who try to smear Tulsi Gabbard and then don't have any information to back up that argument. I think that's right. I heard someone say that Tulsi Gabbard is a toady. I don't know what that means. I don't have any information. Jamie, can you go look that up? Someone Google that for me. Someone do the work for me, because I'm just a stooge for a corporate outlet to spew propaganda. She's basically Pretty Woman. That's what that is. She's Pretty Woman. She's Julia Roberts just being bought out by another billionaire to spew propaganda, because she has no class. She has no integrity. She's an empty vessel. She doesn't have talent. She's just absolutely, just completely pathetic. Well, they're paying $200 million to buy her out. I wonder why that is. So Tim Dillon, comic Tim Dillon, who actually has some talent, also commented on this.
The political fallout from this scandal, it would be monumental, and it would affect some of the wealthiest people in the world and our relationships with different countries, namely Israel. I mean, unless we're all completely wrong here and that Jeffrey Epstein was not at all connected to the Mossad. But it seems he was. It seems he was. So again, it would call into question this relationship that we've had with our, quote, greatest ally for a very long time. That can't happen. I don't care how many, Bari Weiss, whose company is, sold now, is going to sell to CBS for $3 trillion or something. Larry Ellison's son's buying the Free Press. The very important Free Press blog that is on Substack is worth $250 million. And I like Bari, but the free, the one that gets like 7,500 views on YouTube, that powerhouse conglomerate media company is worth $250 million. By the way, so the Tim Dillon show's apparently worth $1 billion. Hello, Miriam. Where's my fucking money? $300 million, $250 million for Bari Weiss's blog, in which she interviewed megastar Ross Douthat from the New York Times about why conspiracies have taken the hold of the American mind. And Ross goes, well, the thing about conspiracies is there's an element of truth. Not in this one. There's not an element of truth. It's all truth. It's all the elements of all of the truth. It's not a kernel of truth. It's lots of kernels in a bag of popcorn. But this is what, and every article now is like, why have conspiracies, the minds of people are being warped, they're melting because of the conspiracy.
What an ironic twist. Bari Weiss, who worked at the New York Times, left the New York Times because it went too woke and too liberal, then creates an outlet on Substack, creates this independent blog, if you will, that barely gets any views, barely gets any attention, and she brings on New York Times contributors to talk about why America is so obsessed with conspiracy theories. I don't know, let's talk about the conspiracy of Russiagate. Let's talk about the conspiracy that Joe Biden is sharp as a tack. Let's talk about the conspiracy that Mark Carney is an average Canadian and not a central banker. Let's talk about those conspiracies. Because that was the government coinciding together to manufacture a narrative to propagandize the general public. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, because that is a conspiracy, folks. Those are conspiracies that have been proven false, that have been proven just absolute catastrophes by people like me, a dumbass Canadian in his basement on a shoestring budget podcast that could easily give you better journalism than Bari Weiss could ever do in her entire life. The only difference is I'm not being paid $200 million. Which I can tell you, if anyone's out there willing to, I'll sell for like 45, maybe 50. I could be a cheap date, 50 mil. I could sell out for that. But until then, I'm going to actually have the soul and judgment and actually have a perspective that is not bought and captured like some sort of cheap whore. Because that's pretty much what Bari Weiss is doing. She's whoring out for the Ellison family. It's so ironic. It's so ironic that, I'm going to lead the New York Times and create this independent outlet that no one's going to watch. And one of my guests, one of my most predominant guests, is going to be someone from the New York Times to tell me how conspiracies are running amok in America. This idea that Jeffrey Epstein is connected to Israel somehow. Oh, man, if only we had clues. Oh, so hysterical. So, that just leads me to this. I had a comment on this. And it says, CBS News, from Walter Cronkite to Bari Weiss. The Paramount Skydance rebrand is looking worse than Cracker Barrel. That's for certain. That's for certain. This is mainstream media on its deathbed. This is mainstream media putting its final nail on the coffin. Just like how MSNBC is now changing its name to MS Now. Because that's going to be so remarkable. Calling it multiple sclerosis now. That's going to be so wonderful. This just goes to show you how just empty they are. Just how soulless these, corporate entities, these empires, the Paramounts, the Comcast, the Disney, the Fox, all of them are just empty vessels of garbage. They just spew the propaganda from whatever mega corporate entity, whether it's BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, Wall Street, whatever the case may be. They're just vessels of just garbage shoving down your throats, hoping that some of the viewers out there just scuffle it down without criticism, without hesitation, just scuff it down like a mindless zombie. And now to buy out Bari Weiss to run CBS News, that is going to be the final nail of their coffin. I don't know who's going to turn on to CBS News that their head editorial person doesn't even know what a toady is. I'm pretty sure if I asked my 80-year-old grandmother what a toady is, she's going to know what it is. And she was working at the New York Times at the time. Man, I want to show that again, actually, because it's too hilarious. So let's go back to the Joe Rogan thing.
Kirsten
Tulsi
Gillibrand. Oh, monstrous.
Monstrous?
Ideas.
Well, when she was 22, she had...
No, she's an Assad toady.
What does that mean?
She is
What's a toady?
I think that I used that word correctly. Jamie, can you check what toady means?
Like towing the line? Is that what it means?
No, I think it's like a... Toadie.
What does that mean?
I think it means what I think it means.
Toady. Definition of toadies. A person
A
who
sycophant,
flatters or defers to others
sycophant.
for
I kinda used it right.
self-serving
That's what I
reasons.
mean, right?
A sycophant.
I didn't know what it mean.
So she's an
I know now,
Assad
'cause
sycophant.
My
Is that what you're
Google-
saying?
Yeah, that's known about her.
Like, what did she say that,
Oh, we have to look.
qualifies her?
I don't remember the details.
We
I've read
probably
it.
should say that before we say that about her. We should probably read it rather.
Well, I have read it.
No, I mean, we should right now.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just so we know what she said.
Look up
I've had her
Tulsi
on here
Gabbard.
before,
Look
and I
up
really
Tul-
enjoyed talking to her. I like her a lot.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I like talking to her.
Okay,
I like
okay.
talking to her. I don't know about.
I think she's like the motherlode of bad ideas.
Whoa.
I'm pretty positive about that, especially on Assad. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong.
Well, my take.
Yeah, I think I'm right, but I might be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. God. Oh my God. What a freaking embarrassment she is. Just the entire industry. Now she's going to run CBS News because the Ellison family need their little puppet, and apparently she fits the ticket, especially on the fact that they need someone to push the, Israel narrative, and, Bari Weiss obviously is a very much an Israeli Mossad toady. He is going to push as much Israel guck out to the general public as possible, and even, if it doesn't stick with the audience, they don't care. They don't care. The Ellison family could not care less. They paid $200 million for some empty vessel bimbo to spew as much Israeli propaganda because it works in favor of Oracle. It works in favor of their other venture empires. That is just how garbage the mainstream media is. That's how garbage news industry is. And sadly, you can get better information from someone like me or comics or even just people on the street than you would someone at publications and outlets like CBS News, which is why it's just a dying breed.